Ready. Play.
So, tomorrow we will have at 2 o'clock Ben Shelton against Felix Auger-Aliassime. Let's have a quick look at their head-to-head, which reads 1-0 in the favor of Felix Auger-Aliassime. Now, this, of course, a lot will depend on the health of Felix, who pulled up with a calf muscle injury. I say pulled up, he didn't retire in his match with Jannik Sinner, but at the end of the first set, when things were pretty nip and tuck for Felix, he was serving to stay in that first set at deuce, ends up picking up what appeared to be a calf injury, and I think it did hamper him to some extent for the remainder of the match. He ends up losing that point and then also the next point, and Jannik Sinner takes the first set and doesn't look back from there. Now, I'm not saying that he wouldn't have lost to Jannik one way or another, but I do think it would have been a much tighter affair, probably a bit more like their Paris Masters final than the 6-1 second set win for Jannik Sinner in that encounter. Shelton, their only previous match, by the way, this, of course, is the match of the two losers. Shelton, very disappointingly, going down in straight sets to Alexander Zverev, despite having a 6-3 advantage in the second set tiebreak. Shelton looked very nervy during that match, and I do think that Ben's appearance, he just feels a bit early in his career trajectory to me for Ben at this tournament. Let's have a quick look at their one and only match. It did come on clay, and it came at Roland Garros last year. It was a 3-set win for Felix Auger-Aliassime in the round of 32. So not much we can draw into that one. It was a 5-set match at a Grand Slam, whereas this is, of course, going to be best of 3 Turin indoors. But the Shelton performance in that first match doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. I think he was extremely erratic, did come in with a game plan against Zverev that just didn't work to try and rush the German. It probably would have worked if Shelton could have executed it, but he didn't really execute it and rarely got a look in on the Zverev serve until he gets that situation at the end of the second set and has those 3-set points that really were, that set was there for the taking, and who knows. Felix, if he's fit, his indoor form, he's the indoor GOAT, remember. This is his part of the season when he comes alive and is largely the reason why he has made the ATP Tour Finals twice, both in 2022 and 2025. If Felix is fit, I expect him to prevail, and I think he'll do so in 3 sets. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready. Play.
So, tomorrow we will have at 2 o'clock Ben Shelton against Felix Auger-Aliassime. Let's have a quick look at their head-to-head, which reads 1-0 in the favor of Felix Auger-Aliassime. Now, this, of course, a lot will depend on the health of Felix, who pulled up with a calf muscle injury. I say pulled up, he didn't retire in his match with Jannik Sinner, but at the end of the first set, when things were pretty nip and tuck for Felix, he was serving to stay in that first set at deuce. Ends up picking up what appeared to be a calf injury, and I think it did hamper him to some extent for the remainder of the match. He ends up losing that point and then also the next point, and Jannik Sinner takes the first set and doesn't look back from there. Now, I'm not saying that he wouldn't have lost to Jannik one way or another, but I do think it would have been a much tighter affair, probably a bit more like their Paris Masters final than the 6-1 second set win for Jannik Sinner in that encounter. Shelton, their only previous match, by the way, this, of course, is the match of the two losers. Shelton, very disappointingly, going down in straight sets to Alexander Zverev, despite having a 6-3 advantage in the second set tiebreak. Shelton looked very nervy during that match, and I do think that Ben's appearance, he just feels a bit early in his career trajectory to me for Ben at this tournament. Let's have a quick look at their one and only match. It did come on clay, and it came at Roland Garros last year. It was a 3-set win for Felix Auger-Aliassime in the round of 32. So not much we can draw into that one. It was a 5-set match at a Grand Slam, whereas this is, of course, going to be best of 3 Turin indoors. But the Shelton performance in that first match doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. I think he was extremely erratic, did come in with a game plan against Zverev that just didn't work to try and rush the German. It probably would have worked if Shelton could have executed it, but he didn't really execute it and rarely got a look in on the Zverev serve until he gets that situation at the end of the second set and has those 3-set points that really were, that set was there for the taking, and who knows. Felix, if he's fit, his indoor form, he's the indoor GOAT, remember. This is his part of the season when he comes alive and is largely the reason why he has made the ATP Tour Finals twice, both in 2022 and 2025. If Felix is fit, I expect him to prevail, and I think he'll do so in 3 sets. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready. Play.
So, tomorrow we will have at 2 o'clock Ben Shelton against Felix Auger-Aliassime. Let's have a quick look at their head-to-head, which reads 1-0 in the favor of Felix Auger-Aliassime. Now, this, of course, a lot will depend on the health of Felix, who pulled up with a calf muscle injury. I say pulled up, he didn't retire in his match with Jannik Sinner, but at the end of the first set, when things were pretty nip and tuck for Felix, he was serving to stay in that first set at deuce. Ends up picking up what appeared to be a calf injury, and I think it did hamper him to some extent for the remainder of the match. He ends up losing that point and then also the next point, and Jannik Sinner takes the first set and doesn't look back from there. Now, I'm not saying that he wouldn't have lost to Jannik one way or another, but I do think it would have been a much tighter affair, probably a bit more like their Paris Masters final than the 6-1 second set win for Jannik Sinner in that encounter. Shelton, their only previous match, by the way, this, of course, is the match of the two losers. Shelton, very disappointingly, going down in straight sets to Alexander Zverev, despite having a 6-3 advantage in the second set tiebreak. Shelton looked very nervy during that match, and I do think that Ben's appearance, He just feels a bit early in his career trajectory to me for Ben at this tournament. Let's have a quick look at their one and only match. It did come on clay, and it came at Roland Garros last year. It was a 3-set win for Felix Auger-Aliassime in the round of 32. So not much we can draw into that one. It was a 5-set match at a Grand Slam, whereas this is, of course, going to be best of 3 Turin indoors. But the Shelton performance in that first match doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. I think he was extremely erratic, did come in with a game plan against Zverev that just didn't work to try and rush the German. It probably would have worked if Shelton could have executed it, but he didn't really execute it and rarely got a look in on the Zverev serve until he gets that situation at the end of the second set and has those 3-set points that really were, that set was there for the taking, and who knows. Felix, if he's fit, his indoor form, he's the indoor GOAT, remember. This is his part of the season when he comes alive and is largely the reason why he has made the ATP Tour Finals twice, both in 2022 and 2025. If Felix is fit, I expect him to prevail, and I think he'll do so in 3 sets. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready. Play.
So, tomorrow we will have at 2 o'clock Ben Shelton against Felix Auger-Aliassime. Let's have a quick look at their head-to-head, which reads 1-0 in the favor of Felix Auger-Aliassime. Now, this, of course, a lot will depend on the health of Felix, who pulled up with a calf muscle injury. I say pulled up, he didn't retire in his match with Jannik Sinner, but at the end of the first set, when things were pretty nip and tuck, for Felix, he was serving to stay in that first set at deuce, ends up picking up what appeared to be a calf injury, and I think it did hamper him to some extent for the remainder of the match. He ends up losing that point and then also the next point, and Jannik Sinner takes the first set and doesn't look back from there. Now, I'm not saying that he wouldn't have lost to Jannik one way or another, but I do think it would have been a much tighter affair, probably a bit more like their Paris Masters final than the 6-1 second set win for Jannik Sinner in that encounter. Shelton, their only previous match, by the way, this, of course, is the match of the 2 losers. Shelton, very disappointingly, going down in straight sets to Alexander Zverev, despite having a 6-3 advantage in the second set tiebreak. Shelton looked very nervy during that match, and I do think that Ben's appearance, he just feels a bit early in his career trajectory to me for Ben at this tournament. Let's have a quick look at their one and only match. It did come on clay, and it came at Roland Garros last year. It was a 3-set win for Felix Auger-Aliassime in the round of 32. So not much we can draw into that one. It was a 5-set match at a Grand Slam, whereas this is, of course, going to be best of 3 Turin indoors. But the Shelton performance in that first match doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. I think he was extremely erratic, did come in with a game plan against Zverev that just didn't work to try and rush the German. It probably would have worked if Shelton could have executed it.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Summers, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jaime Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready. Play.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is in the world, wherever you are tuning in from. Ben Shelton here against Felix Auger-Aliassime. Ben has already held serve with relative ease, and Felix is up 15-love on his serve after a nice smash there that ends that most recent rally. I'm going to put a poll up, if I haven't done so already, as to who you think is going to win this particular encounter. It looks like I haven't got a poll up, so I'm going to put it there now. We have also got a poll available on our YouTube channel in the community chat area, if you know where that is. Posing the question, who you think is going to win between Musetti and Alcaraz? Of course, that match will be tomorrow. Anyway, who's going to win this one? Let me know in the live chat, but also get voting in our poll. Ben Shelton is the higher seed, having qualified before Felix Auger-Aliassime. And yet, I make Felix the favorite in this one. Let's see how this point ends up. It's going to be 40-love. Ben there trying to go cross-court with the pass. Didn't make it. So it is 40-love. Felix also looking pretty comfortable on serve. Make sure you hit the like button. And of course, hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. Something to tell you about as well, of course, is our partnership with Tennis Warehouse Europe. That is in the description below the YouTube video. So please do check out all of their stuff for apparel and, of course, clothing and, of course, tennis equipment, whatever you need. And then when you check out, write Talk 10 and you'll get discount. Felix has held, by the way, after Ben Shelton's gone long on the forehand side. Yeah, I've gone for Felix for this one. Let me know in the live chat which way you're going. Okay, into the rally here. 1-all at the moment. Ben goes wide with a forehand. So it is love 15. Hey, hello. I think, by the way, even though it's Tennis Warehouse Europe, I think it also is fine for people outside of Europe to shop there. I think. Just click on the link. And I think it does say, like, if you're shopping outside Europe, no problem. You just have to write it when you click on the link. Anyway. Ghosty, which way is this going? Why? By the way, I've got a question for you, Ghosty. Why? I understand your... I sort of understand some of your reasons behind liking some players and not liking others. But I'm confused, a little bit confused about your Felix dislike. Is it just his game or is it something else? Shelton in 3. I mean, Shelton could win, especially if Felix is hampered a little bit by that calf injury. It's a lovely forehand from Felix there, inside in, I think. I'm just trying to get my tennis terminology correct. So 15:30 here on the... Have we all seen the interview with Djokovic by Piers Morgan, by the way? I've seen bits of it. Oh, anyone who disses the Labour Cup feels the wrath of Ghosty. You should have. Did you hear me talking about the head-to-head between Fritz and Carlos? I don't know if you either saw the preview or even the beginning of yesterday's stream. We have got a game point here, though, for Ben Shelton. Oh, that's a huge forehand, by the way, from Ben. At the moment, our poll is 50-50. Terry on Discord is saying that he or she, I still don't know if it's a he or she, thinks Shelton's going to win. Good serve down the tee there from Ben, and he has held for 2-1. We'll be back in a moment. Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks, including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material, such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered, whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon, or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready. Play.
And if you're wondering what this little thing is, well, let me tell you now, whether it be tea, coffee, or merely water, it tastes so much better from a Talking Tennis mug. And you know what? They can be yours if you wish to purchase one from our website. We've also got bags and stickers and hoodies and notebooks. Mira Andreeva. T-shirts as well, of course, coming in both black and white. And we've got a classic jumper for you as well, and many, many other things for you to purchase for excellent prices so you can look like some of the coolest people on the tour. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. Indeed, we are on serve here. Felix Auger-Aliassime serving, and it's 30-15 on the Canadian serve. It was good defense there from Ben to begin that rally, but ultimately Felix went long on that most recent point. Are we going to get a break point here for Ben? What basically Felix definitely needs, and maybe Shelton too, is for Sinner to run away with the group. I mean, Shelton, if Shelton, Felix, and Zverev all beat each other, let's say, so if let's say Shelton wins this and then Felix beats Zverev, then the nature of the loss against Sinner could be important. So if Zverev loses in 3 sets tonight, or if Shelton was to lose in 3 sets to Yannick in this last match, that could be enough. So one win could be enough. Oh, that's a bad volley there from Felix, setting up a break point here. That's 2 disappointing shots. The forehand long, and then that volley was there to be dealt with. And he hits it into the net. So we've got a break point for Ben Shelton. Good return there from Ben. Ooh, listen to that roar. He's here to mean business today. Seems a bit calmer today as well. Maybe a bit more belief that he can get a good result against Felix just by playing his own game. I honestly, Ghosty, your reasoning doesn't quite match the dislike. You know, if you were like, meh, you know, but it's a real visceral dislike, and I don't quite get it. By the way, we're going to have the match tonight as well. We'll have Fergus on board for that match tonight, so make sure you join us for the later match in Turin between Zverev and Sinner. Second serve here for Felix to deal with, and he's gone long. Very disappointing start for the Canadian. Good serve out wide there from Ben, and Felix can't deal with it. Yeah, I've seen many interviews with him. He's all right. I mean, I've met him. Some interviews are some good, some bad. Neither here nor there. I don't have a strong opinion on that. $40 love and 3 game points here. Let's have a quick look at the poll. By the way, we've got going on YouTube at the moment. Shelton 67%, Felix 33%. Good serve there from Ben again. And the backhand goes into the net from Felix, 4-1. So it's a pretty good lead, a healthy lead that Ben has earned. Ben has earned it, but he has been given 1 or 2 gifts. Yeah, neither here nor there. I don't have any strong opinions on the character of Felix. Yeah. He doesn't do enough to bring out something that makes me dislike him intensely, unlike 1 or 2 other players. I mean, isn't that half the tour, probably? One way or another. Someone who, for sure, when you meet them and chat to them about tennis and a few other things, who, yeah, was probably better than maybe I realized was Casper Ruud. Yeah, that's someone. But the thing is, Ghost, it's for you, it's not forgettable. It's extremely memorable, considering. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, you could say the same about Pete Sampras. Yeah, I mean, Casper Ruud without meeting him. Yannick Sinner. Who else? I mean, let's have a quick look at the ATP Top 100. I mean, does Zverev give you anything? Does Taylor Fritz give you anything? Alex de Minaur, Musetti, Draper. Rublev. Do these people give you anything? Lahetska, Hachanov, Mensik, Tommy Paul, Sarundalo, Kaboli. I could go on. Could go on. Yeah, so maybe we can feel sorry. That, for me, is a reason to support Felix more than Sampras and Sinner. You know, if Felix came up against either of those two in a Grand Slam final, for example, obviously against Sampras would be pretty special because it would mean someone in their mid-50s going out of retirement. But, you know, if you've got two people who I'm neither here nor there on, and one has won dozens of slams or plenty of slams and the other one hasn't won any, I'm going to go for the underdog. Really interesting, you think? You think Tommy Paul is interesting? You think Karen Hachanov, Yuri Lahetska, Andrei Rublev? They're okay. They're just neither here nor there. De Minaur, Musetti, Draper, Taylor Fritz. Come on, Taylor Fritz. I like Taylor, but it's no different to Felix. 30-15. Nice forehand winner there, +1 inside in from Felix for 40-15. Two game points here for Felix. First serve is an ace, so it is 4-2. How are Newcastle doing? Not so well, not so well. Backhand return there from Felix. Ooh, Shelton puts that relatively easy forehand into the net, 15 all. Backhand here from Felix, comes into the net. Easy pass there for Ben, though. I say an easy pass. He didn't have to go that close to the line. And I don't think he intended to go that close to I think it's the baseline he went close to, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's inside the baseline, you know, visually as well. But it wasn't the baseline that he had to challenge, if you know what I mean. It was just had to get it past Felix. There, Shelton has earned, and we got to 30 all. First serve down the tee. Forehand here from Shelton has helped force the error, has it? Yes. 40-30. Shelton here at the net, is he? Oh, lovely forehand there, 5-2. They go to Ben's father quite a lot, don't they? And today he's generally got a smile on his face, given the way the first 7 games have panned out. Shall we have a look at the subscriber count for some, I think they call it navel gazing, don't they? I guess it's navel gazing if you've got 1,427,212, then it's navel gazing. Maybe 20,069, it's not quite enough to sort of boast about. That would be great, Ghosty. I think he appeared on YouTube, didn't he? And then he switched to Instagram. That was a year ago, by the way. Felix here, 2-5. He's going to be serving to stay in the set. When they return... Okay, 15 love here for Felix. Although I'm glad you asked, Ghosty. We got to keep asking. I think you should ask every stream you appear on, Ghosty, or appear in the chat. Ask, because you never know. He might be lurking and just not talking. But then as soon as you ask for him, that might prompt him, or somewhere the pigeons and stuff might pass on the message. I'm on English breakfast tea. I think it's Yorkshire tea, no less, that I'm drinking. My sister was in Bonn recently and bought a load of Yorkshire tea. So I'm ploughing through them as we speak. Let me know in the live chat what you are consuming, other than this Talking Tennis stream, which in a way you're consuming. It's 30 love here for Felix. Trying to keep Ben honest in terms of making him serve it out. Ghosty, I had something in my mind about the BBC and editing. It was something along the lines of, well, I mean, maybe the Talking Tennis edits are not so bad after all. Felix holds comfortably to love, so Shelton is going to have to serve this out. I see the poll has narrowed to 60-40 in favor of Ben. A much bigger sample size, I expect, will be out there for our poll that we put in the posts for Alcaraz Musetti. Yeah, we've got 177 votes in this one. Let's have a look at it. There you go. If you want to vote in that poll, you can. I'll share the link in the chat. Ben here is about to serve at 5-3, 7-4 this first set. In terms of objectives for Shelton at this tournament, he's missed that forehand. You know, I think even 3 losses for Ben is okay, but it depends on the nature of the losses. Just in terms of it being his first appearance, I think that does make a difference in terms of the fact that Felix has been here before. Felix is an indoor GOAT. Felix is a few years older. I think it makes a difference. First appearance We've seen it before with players that, including Felix himself in 2022, that maybe don't quite do themselves justice playing top 10 players sort of just non-stop for a few days. It's a difficult one. But like I said, it depends on the nature of the losses. I think the nature of the Shelton loss to Zverev was disappointing, having those 3 set points to win the second set in the tiebreak, being up, I think 6-3, wasn't it? Yeah. So, and 2 of them on his serve. That the nature of that loss. If he then wins that tiebreak and loses the third set, so be it. But yeah, here we are. Love 30. And it's going to be a second serve. This is not the time for Ben to be faltering. Is he a little bit tight trying to serve this out? Maybe. Comes in on the second serve and he's missed the volley. A few times he backed up second serves. So, love 40 here. Shelton serving. Where are you going to go with this serve? Out wide. Thought about coming in on it. Didn't do so. Now he's going to come in, but he's hesitant. And that's not a good volley. And that's going to go out. Lucky boy, Ben. Just some hesitancy in this game from Ben. A bit of hesitancy and a couple of not perfect volleys or not great volleys. And that's where we are. Misses the first serve, has he? Yes. Comes in on the second serve again, but he's not going to put that volley away. Felix is going to pass him. Felix breaks back. 5-4. One thing I will say from Felix, even though I think he's been a little flat in some of these opening exchanges, I think he's moving okay. So that calf seems to be fine. In his post-match press conference on, what day was it? On a couple of days ago anyway. It was interesting to hear him focus on the match rather than his calf. So he was talking about his disappointment, how he's got to do things better, how he's got to improve, how he's got to do things maybe even differently next time he comes up against Yannick. Which suggested to me that it's like, you know what? Yes, that calf was a little difficult for me maybe on occasion today, but it wasn't a reason behind my loss. And it's also not going to affect me going forward. That was the message I got from the press conference. So I do think it probably it put him off on the set point for sure. It happened on the deuce point when he's serving at 5-6, but I think it affected him especially on the next point. So he loses that first set, perhaps as a result, and then that second set he wasn't moving anywhere near his level, and he did get some treatment I think when he was 3-love down. And that was the spell, wasn't it? He lost 5 games in a row from 5-all first set to 3-love down second set. You've lost the match against Yannick Sinner in that situation. So 32 minutes on the clock and the players return to the court. Felix is serving at 4-5, but at 5-3 he was down the barrel, staring down the barrel. He wasn't down the barrel. He was staring down the barrel. Okay, Felix is serving 4-5. Momentum maybe swiftly going his direction. I mean, he is still serving to stay in the set. So if Ben could just sort of fire a couple of really good shots, maybe a couple of good returns, a couple of good forehands. But he's not started it very well with that backhand going long. Okay, 15 love, second serve. Double fault, 15 all. That's the kind of gift that Shelton could do with. Okay, first serve clips the net. Stays in, so it's a second serve here. (30-15) ace down the tee. Did I say second serve? I meant it was still a first serve because it hit the net and landed in. Backhand return. Backhand to forehand Ben Shelton. That's a good forehand from Ben. Oh, lovely, Ben. They're going in behind Felix. 30 all. So he's 2 points away. Good serve there, though, from Felix. But Ben did well with it, but he's going to do well with this forehand, too. Felix has gone long. Felix has gone long, 30-40. Deary me, Felix Auger-Aliassime erring there. And from 30-15, a double fault at 30-15, meaning 30 all. Some good play from Shelton, bringing up 30-40. And then Auger-Aliassime was on top in that point, and yet he has erred. And we've got a first set point here for Ben Shelton. Probably needs a second serve, you'd have thought. Is he going to get the second serve opportunity? No, he's not. But he's dealt with the first serve just about. He's in the rally here, but he's gone a bit short there. But Felix hasn't punished it. Felix on the forehand run around, of course. Lovely down the line there from Ben Shelton. He still wins the first set, 6-4. Well done, Ben Shelton. He's shaking his head because he's annoyed that he didn't serve it out. But that last rally, I think, dealing with that first serve down the tee, even if it wasn't like right on the line down the tee, Ben did really well to get it back and decently, did okay in the rally, and as soon as there was an opportunity to attack, he took it, winning the first set by 6-4. Let me know in the live chat what you think of that first set. Also get voting in our poll as to who you think's going to win. Ben Shelton there hitting 5 winners to 8 unforced errors. As I said, it's been a much more measured display from Ben today compared to his first match. I think he's settled a lot better and is a bit calmer. Managing to break Felix Auger-Aliassime twice in that set, obviously losing his own serve on one occasion when he was trying to serve it out, but it matters not. Felix Auger-Aliassime, by the way, hit 9 winners. First serves in for Ben, 54%, which is not great, actually. Felix getting 80% first serves in, which is very good. However, when it changes is on the percentage of first serves won, because Ben is winning 79% on his first serve. Felix, however, is winning 60% of his first serve. So perhaps Felix needs to put a bit more on that first serve. Wonder if his service speeds are slightly down today, or he's just not taking enough risk on that first serve. Anyway, most important statistic of all is that Shelton has won the first set by 6-4. Let's have a quick look to see what's going on the Twitter sphere. In a moment, we'll have a look at the Twitter sphere, I promise. Just setting up the Sinner versus Zverev stream. For to noon, depending on which part of the US you're in. They are going to get this second set under. Got Shelton here serving at the beginning of the second set. And of course, he's serving first as well. 30 love, by the way. And it becomes 40 love. So yeah, I'm on the English breakfast tea. What are you on today? Let me know in the live chat. Premier Set. This is a French, obviously, website, Univers Tennis. I've met one or two of the people actually that work for this particular website, social media channel, and they were very nice, which it's not always the case for those in the media. This is old. This is me having to share some stuff. I've got to put it on the screen for you. Sorry. There we go. Yeah, the standard, perhaps, Matthew, hasn't been of the highest quality. I wouldn't disagree with that take. Which I think for Felix's point of view in particular is particularly frustrating, given that we know, and Ben's held for one love, by the way, at the beginning of this set, we know that Ben's level can go up and down. We also know Ben's age and where he's at in his career compared to Felix. What's this? I'm going to say this is the end of Ben's third year on tour, something like that. But Felix has been on tour for 10 years, maybe a bit less, 8. It's also Felix's second appearance in this tournament, Ben's first. I think there was more expectation from me going into this tournament on Felix than Ben. I saw it as being a 2-horse race to emerge from this group. I mean, 2 horses for 1 place, as in like 1 for Sinner, almost certainly his group winner, probably winning all 3 matches. And then it was a race for second place. And I saw Felix and Zverev in that race. I thought that Ben might get a win across the 3 matches somewhere, but I also wouldn't have been surprised if he lost all 3. Ben is also, there's one other big thing with Ben compared to the other players in this tournament is he's not played a lot of tennis, has he, since September? He's still easing himself back on the tour. And when he got easing himself back into the tour via a bunch of top 10 matches at the ATP Tour year-end finals is a big ask, in my opinion. I know what you mean, Matthew, but I will just say that something from Ben today that's been much better is that he hasn't been as hyper as he was against Zverev. I think he went too far. You might be right in saying he's gone too far the other way, or he went too far the other way in that service game. And I think he was annoyed with himself, wasn't he? We even saw him when he broke serve to win the set. He sort of celebrated a bit, but he's also like shaking his head because he should have done it 5 minutes before. But I do think this is a slightly better version of Ben than probably we saw in the match against Zverev. Backhand return here from Shelton. That's going to be quite easy for Felix, but doesn't deal with it as aggressively as I thought. But Ben's given him a gift anyway, so it's 30-15 now on the Felix serve. This was Felix thinking that he was back in the match when he breaks Ben. 40-15 now for Felix. Honestly, I have no idea who this individual is sandwiched between these two players, but if you know in the live chat, let me know. Forehand to forehand right now. Felix has missed that forehand, so 40-30. And thank you for the latest subscriber. Felix has held, by the way, so 1-all. Do make sure you join us for tonight's stream or the one later on today if you're in North America between Yannick Sinner and Alexander Zverev. Fergus will be in the chair for that one. I will also be there for parts of that match. Ace, though, the way there from Felix to get to 1-all. If you want to vote in this particular poll as well, I'm going to share the link with you in the chat. This is the poll I'm referring to. I think Alcaraz will win, particularly if Felix is really struggling physically, which would be understandable given his exploits in the last couple of weeks. None more so than last night's win. 3 sets, pretty dramatic, almost 3 hours. Okay, Shelton here serving, and we're into the rally. Low net clearance there from Ben, and perhaps it contributed to the shank from Felix Auger-Aliassime. Backhand return into the net. 30 love. There is one factor, though, that might go the way of Musetti in this match. It depends if it's the afternoon match or the night match. But if it's the night match, Carlos might have already qualified. Now, that doesn't mean Carlos is going to throw in an easy match. 40 love, by the way. First serve, nice there from Ben. Or anything like that. But it just might be 1% less from Carlos. He might just try. We know what Carlos can be like when there's not enough pressure in a way. His mind just might wander a bit. There might be a few drop shots. The showman might come out a little bit. Now, I don't think it'll be crazy. It might just be 1 or 2 points, but it might just be the 1 or 2 points that might help Musetti get a set, and then who knows? I think if everything's normal, I would expect... Oh, that's a nice volley there but that's not a nice volley. The first volley was good. The second volley was not from Ben. 40-15. Okay. 2 game points here for Ben Shelton. Gets the first serve in. Felix can't deal with it. And so, at the change of ends, it is 2-1 on serve. Are we going to get to 2,100 subscribers today? Don't think so, but you never know. 2,100? 20,100. Got plenty of previews out there if you want to check those out. We've got Taylor Fritz, De Minaur. We've got the preview for that match already up there. We've got Alcaraz, Musetti as well. We've also got a Sinner Zverev preview, which of course will be the match coming up this evening. We'll have a live watch along for that one too. Also, by the way, make sure you check out our Discord. It's in the description on YouTube below. Okay, players are back on court. Felix is about to serve a 1-2. Ace down the tee, is that? No, he didn't land the first serve. Second serve here for Shelton to look at. Backhand return. Forehand from Felix. It's good forehand, but that's a good backhand cross court from Ben. He's going across court again. Feels like he's slightly on top in this rally, but Felix can soon get that back. In fact, I think he possibly has got it back. We're at neutral. Ben puts a slice into the net. That slice is not good enough. 15 love, Felix Auger-Aliassime. Missed the first serve there, has Felix. Second serve here for Shelton to look at. Backhand return. Forehand from Felix. That's nice. That's a nice backhand cross-court winner there from Felix. 30 love. First serve, there's missed because it's clipped the net and gone long. Backhand return there's good. Forehand cross court from Felix is pretty good too. That's a nice backhand down the line decision. Ben now is going to come into the net, but it doesn't matter because he's put the forehand away. 30-15. Winner speed, 146 kilometers an hour. By the way, it's been a pretty speedy set and almost set and a half. Less than an hour, well under the hour. 52 minutes right now. Felix comes into the net, but Ben cannot pass. In fact, he puts the backhand into the net. 40-15. And Felix holds for 2-all. So, Shelton here serving 2-all, love 15. Felix on the run, Ben on the forehand, but he's missed that forehand. So it is love 30. "54 minutes on the clock." Ben here gets the first serve in. Backhand return. Ben can come in and attack this. Attack it well, he does. Felix does really well to defend that, but Ben puts the smash away. 15-30. And that return isn't made from Felix, so it's 30-all. Clenched fist there. "40-30 now for Ben. He's got himself out of a hole. And he's held. That's a big hold there for Ben. From love 30 down, he holds, and it's 3-2. Hello, Jake. Jake, I can tell you my very quick appraisal of the set and a half that we've seen so far. I think Felix has not brought it at all. Too many unforced errors from neutral positions, sometimes even advantageous positions, often going long. I think he may also be holding a bit back on his first serve. I don't think there's a physical reason for that. I know he's got this calf issue, but I don't think that's affecting him thus far. He seems to be moving around the court pretty well. Also, his post-match comments after the Yannick match would suggest that actually the calf injury is not that bad. But his first serves, getting his first serves in 80% and yet only winning 60% of those points, in my opinion, suggests that he's just not hitting his spots or hitting it hard enough, especially as we know he's a bit of a serve bot indoors. As for Ben, much calmer version of Ben compared to the one we saw against Zverev, where he was hyper to an absolute nth degree, could barely lay a glove on the Zverev serve throughout the match. As soon as, of course, he got a chance, 3-set points at the second set, he blew it. He was just a bit angsty, wasn't he, in my opinion, in that match. Today, much more settled, perhaps even too settled. He was serving for the first set and wasn't able to take advantage of that. In fact, got broken. Perhaps, indeed, as Matthew suggested, was a little passive and not that, not the hyper version that we know of him. And yet, he managed to knuckle down, calm down, take advantage of a double fault, for example, when Felix was serving to get back at the match at 5-all. So this is 4-5 Felix serving. I think it was 30-15 as well. And there's a double fault. But Ben was there to pick up the pieces. So that's the match thus far. I would suggest that Ben still has a lot of room for improvement on the return. And I think I didn't dislike the strategy against Zverev, which was to rush the German, but it didn't work. And Ben wasn't able to pull it off in the first match. But I also think for Ben, honestly, I said this in the preview for the tournament. I think for Ben, this is a little bit of a free hit. I know he's top 5, top 6 in the world, blah, 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 blah. He comes in seeded 5 for this tournament. I think so. He's probably ranked 6. I think it's behind Novak at the moment. But only his third tournament back. It's a big ask to go and beat a bunch of top 10 players, in my opinion. Plus his age, plus it's his first tournament. Felix has been here, seen it, and won the T-shirt before. Felix has been on the tour long enough to not get that kind of benefit of the doubt. And, Ben and top 10 players, certainly at Slams, I think he's not beaten a top 10 player yet at Slam, despite making a couple of Slam semi-finals. So I just think that for Ben, it's all about what are the performances like? Are we seeing enough from Ben across the 3 matches that suggests we're going to have a big 2026? And I think the nature of the loss to Zverev bothered me a little bit more than the loss itself. If he serves out that second set, loses in 3 sets, that's okay. Hold your head up high, come into the next match, go toe to toe with Felix if you can. Same with Yannick in the last match, another free hit. If you go home and you lose 3 matches in 3 sets, that can happen. I still think that he is going deep when he's healthy and it's a slam. I mean, what were his slam performances this year? Wimbledon was quarterfinals, losing to Yannick. Yeah, straight sets. I saw a little bit of criticism after that, but it is Yannick Sinner, was the best player at that tournament and won it in the end this year. Not many people take sets off Yannick on grass at Wimbledon, You can't say anything about the US Open. I think he was set for a semi-final spot at the US Open where he may well have run into Yannick again, but he gets injured. That's that. So what is he supposed to do? I think he even probably overachieved at the French Open. 4th round, loses to Carlos in 4 or 5 sets, was it? To Carlos? 4, I think. But again, that could easily have gone 5. I think he's maxing out there. Australia was probably a disappointment. He didn't make the semis this year. It was last year he made the semis and was serving for the first set, I think. It wasn't this year. Or was it this year? Maybe it was this year. Let me know. Was it this year or last year, Ben Shelton? I'm getting old, people. This year, right? So, what? He can't do any more than that, in my opinion, at the Slams this year. So he's doing exactly that. And yeah, he should be going deep. I agree, and he is. I just think the ATP Tour Finals is a bit different. Yeah, sure, if you're Yannick or you're Carlos or you're Rafa, Roger or Novak, then it might be a bit different for these guys. But these guys are GOATs. Ben will probably never be in that conversation. But Ben is and should be in the conversation of someone who should win somewhere between 1 and 4 slams. He may never win this year-end finals. He may never go deep in the year-end finals, as in a semi-final or whatever. But this is his first year, and he's doing just fine, certainly in this match so far. Bit of both, Jake. I think it's really interesting. He is the one player, I think, on tour more than anyone else who could get closer to them next year. In my opinion, he's the one with the highest ceiling. He's the one with still loads of room for improvement, and yet he's top 6 in the world. And he's just held serve, by the way, for 4-3. He's the one. He's 8, 9, 9.5 out of 10 in 2, 3, 4 categories, right? He's probably an 8 out of 10 on serve. There is some room for improvement, particularly with the spots, maybe a bit of consistency as well. But that's good because he's an 8 out of 10 and he's already probably top 10 server in the world. He just gets those spots a bit more and suddenly he's top 1, top 2, top 3 in the world in terms of serves. And suddenly he's easily top 5 and he's in the semis of every major except Paris. Yes, there's big room for improvement on the return. I don't see much of an improvement so far this year. But I speculated earlier. I think he joined the tour in 2023. I think I saw him in Estoril. It was either 23 or 24 was his first. I remember when he arrived in Estoril, it was like the first time he'd been in Europe full stop, which I found shocking, bearing in mind his father was a tennis player on the tour. Couldn't believe that he was never in Europe with his father at some point, but was that 23 or 24? Because if it's 24, then he's well ahead of the trajectory. I mean, where was Yannick at the end of his second year on tour? Was Yannick's first year on tour 2020 or 2019? Athleticism, by the way, is where he's 9.5. You know? Yeah. So if he's already where he is with the holes in his game, and I tell you where I think the two holes are return, I think the volleys as well. If he could just go up a notch in those two areas, he probably wins a slam in the next 18 months. In terms of a dentist's office, I don't know if they're boring or just unnerving. I think they're more unnerving. But it's about what's to come, isn't it? There's always some magazine there that's about 20. This is how it is in the UK, at least, and Germany as well, I think. There's some magazine there, which is like 1993 or something. It's talking about the prospect of Charles and Diana getting a divorce, whether that's on the cards or not. And whether, I don't know. What else? UFOs. That was sort of a big topic in 1993. I don't know. What were the big top topics? Yeah, come on, Ghosty, get back with. Oh, is that return landed in? It has. Oh, I like that. That instinctive return, and Felix there just going, when that left his racket, I thought that was going to go out. Now, I think even if Felix, because I think Felix could have done something with that. I think there was a lack of concentration there from Felix. Because I'm not saying Felix wins the point, but if he ends his service motion, he's still got time to get in a very good spot to get more than a racket on it, if you like. That's a cultured return. What I call a cultured return there from Ben, by the way. 15-30, because it doesn't land in. Maybe Mexico is the Turkey of Latin America, of the Americas, because everyone goes to Turkey and gets their teeth and hair done. Block return there from but that's a good volley there from Felix. I mean, it was a 8 out of 10 probability that he puts the volley away, and he should. And he did. But I have seen Felix miss a volley like that in this match already. Yes, Ben. That's how you do it. It was a pretty mediocre. I mean, do you even call that a smash from Auger-Aliassime? And gave Shelton a huge opportunity to go for the pass. But he got it just right. I mean, yes, Felix gets his racket on it, but actually watching the slow motion, maybe Felix should do more than just get a racket on that. Anyway, break point for Ben Shelton here, 30-40. It's a good serve down the tee. Too good. Deuce. Similar to the serve, actually, on break point or on set point, very similar to the serve and scenario on set point, because but on that one, Ben got his racket on it. It looked almost like the same. Look at that. First serves on return from both players, 44%. That tells you that both players need to do better on return. I mean, that was a tough return, but I remember Ben doing really well on the serve, just like that on set point. Get some good depth on the return as well. Ben has made the return there, but it's going to be a nice, easy one for Felix. Is that maybe the fact that we've got two of the best servers in the world? Maybe. Like that 44% unreturned first serves. But yeah, I think both players have still got to do a bit better, despite the fact that they're coming up against each other in the serving department. Am I right in saying that these are two of the best servers in the world? I think on their day, they're both easily in the top 10, maybe top 5 servers in the world. Yannick's ahead of them. He's the only one that, for me, maybe Zverev. Yes, and Petri Pedicard perhaps too. Oh, net called there. Ben's going to come in. Ben Shelton. You've got to do better with that forehand. I mean, Felix is obviously lucky with the net call, but it's still sat up quite nicely. That reminds me of some of the shots I missed today that were short and I was hitting them long. As in they were short that I was taking them and then should have been putting them away, but put them long. Lost the set. I played 6-4 today. Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, Zverev and Sinner just depends on the moment. If Zverev is getting his 75, 80% first serves in, then maybe it's Zverev. Sinner, yes, and Petri Pedicard, but I mean, he's not in the conversation for... Oh, that's a lovely inside-out forehand there from Ben. 15 love. I would imagine that they're not behind either player, Ghosty. That's how I see it. I saw a really weird tweet the other day after Musetti's first match. Who was Musetti's first match against? Was it against Fritz, wasn't it? And the tweet, I mean, I think they were in the stadium. Oh, that's nice from Ben. Good touch. 30 love. I think they were in the stadium, to be fair, and I'm not. But still... They were like quite critical of the Italian crowd not being enough behind Lorenzo. And yet every time Lorenzo won a point, they were going nuts. This is not yesterday's match. I'm talking about the first one against Taylor. But I don't know. It was weird. Even though I'm watching on TV and they're in the stadium, they were doing everything they could to G Musetti up. Good serve down the tee. 40 love. Do hit the like button, by the way, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And by the way, to get the discount with Tennis Europe, you've got to click on the link that is in the description, just so you know. Particularly you, Jake. I know you were talking about getting some stuff from there later on this week. I don't know, Jake. It probably won't be this year. I mean, there's not much left of the year, I know. And there's... Was it Montemar, is it, in Spain? I was kind of interested in that one because I like the location and a bit of winter sun, but I've got a lot going on in Germany until beginning of December, really, and then by then the tennis season is done. Could even be as far away as February. What is it? Koblenz at the beginning of February? That's sort of one maybe in my mind. Challenger in Koblenz. We've not done much of the main tour because they have, I think they've shit on us far too often. I've only scratched the surface with some of the stuff that's gone on in 2025. I mean, the amount of times that we were given accreditation and then had it swiftly taken away is wild. I mean, we've booked flights, we've booked hotels, and they've just gone, no, you haven't got accreditation, even though, you know, we've got the email, we've got all the confirmation. As I think I did highlight once before that the ATP said that we're not doing enough PR for them. Well, we're the media. That's not our job. You know, if you write for the website or you manage the social media account, sure. But, you know, this is authoritarianism to the extreme when you're telling media outlets that they need to do better PR for you. Yeah, after we've booked, I booked a flight to Rome, hotel as well for a few days, and get on site, and they went, nah. I mean, it's worse than sucks, Ghosty. It's scary. That is just, yeah, it's beyond wrong. It's the sort of thing that, you know, Mr. Putin and Xi Jinping and Mr. Trump, and I mean, you could go on, Orban and many others. I mean, even maybe Mr. Starmer would be proud of in terms of authoritarianism. And yet you go, yeah, it's happening everywhere, Ghosty. I mean, I think Germany as well is not exactly in a great place democratically, in terms of protests and stuff and people being arrested and bashed up. And yeah, anyway, it is what it is. But my lack of trust in the tour. I mean, by the way, there was also another one in Morocco. Where was it? What's the 250 in Morocco at the beginning of the clay season? We got accreditation for that. Booked our trip as well. Booked my trip. Then they said it was taken away. Then they said it was bad. I mean, it was just to and fro. I mean, by the way, we did get it in the end, and I covered the tournament, some interviews from there, as you may well remember. But very, very, very weird stuff, you know. Marrakesh, thank you, Jake. Yeah, you can't give a credit. It happened at Queen's, by the way, 18 months ago as well. Now, on this occasion, we didn't book anything because it was going to be Kira covering the tournament. But then last minute, they just said, oh, we made a mistake. Sorry, you haven't got accreditation. I say last minute. Actually, it wasn't last minute. It was probably about 2 weeks before the tournament began. Now, Kira was living in the UK and was just... But this is really, really bad form. The problem is, of course, and it's something the PTP action has highlighted, it's the schism between the organizations of the tournaments that want us there because they know that their sponsors will get more exposure. I mean, I know we're still quite small in the grand scheme of things, but 20,000 subscribers in terms of independent media, what are we? Probably the third, in English at least. Are we the second? No, we're probably the third or the fourth most subscribed channel out there on YouTube. Who's ahead of us? Game to Love, Tennis Talk. What's not Tennis Talk? Talk Tennis, or Cam Williams, I should say. Is there anyone else? Oh, well, you got Gil Gross, to be fair, and The Slice. I think they've got more than us. So we're top 5, let's say. Cam Williams, yeah, he's obviously the most. Game to Love, I think, are number 2. I think. Well, what about this defense from Ben? Finally, Felix puts it away, 5-all. But anyway, so do you want us to come and cover your tournament or not? Do you want us to show your tournament off to not just the 20,000 subscribers, because across 1 week, we'll probably get, 100,000 views, let's say, across 100 videos maybe that we'll produce. Yeah, I know. Anyway, 5-all, 15 love here for Shelton. Looks like we're going to a tie break. Ben did have a break point chance opportunity, I should say, at 4-3. That's probably as close as we've come to a break. I would even go as far as to say, by the way, no one from all of those competitors that I highlighted covers the WTA more than us. None of them. That's not a criticism of them. They do their thing, and they all do their thing as well as they can and as well as they do. But no one gives the WTA Tour as much coverage as us independently. Now we probably, even including some of those such as the WTA Tour themselves, we probably cover it more and give it better exposure than anyone. Period, as you would say in the US. And yet, they don't want us to cover it. It's a real thing. It's a take. 15:30 here, by the way. So Ben under a bit of pressure on his serve. By the way, does anyone know who this is in the middle? Looks a very serious fellow. So by the way, before I'm just ranting here, and Jake, I tell you what, can I ask you a question, Jake? Why do you ask me, can you ask a question? It's the most curious of things, because it's a live chat. You're not going to... Questions, by the way, I would say almost never. There probably are some exceptions, but almost never offensive. It's a question at the end of the day. Even if you say something like, "What? Why are you?" I mean, maybe, yeah. Why are you so tiny? Or why do you have such a big head? Maybe, I guess. I guess when it's framed in that way. Yeah, yeah, I do. I do. If you didn't have cowards, I'm thinking, and you had progressive people, yeah. I thought the stance from Rebecca was very interesting on Saturday, and her position is very similar to some of the things that we've experienced. Ben here, Ben here, Ben here. He's going to win this point. I tell you what, that was beautiful from Ben, hitting the lines. There you go. You got the green light from Sir Ghosty of Gerolitis. I do, yeah, I do. Interestingly, the squeeze that we felt from the main tour, it has, of course, not helped both ourselves, but also, I think, tennis as well. I think we're a small cog in the whole process, but I think that they're doing themselves self-harm. But tennis often does itself self-harm in so many ways. It's perplexing. Yeah, definitely. I think it's the absolute right thing as well for her to do, because she knows that it was a very weird thing that happened. And then even the WTA realized that they messed up, because 6 months in, they went, we'll keep this quiet, basically. Well, I mean, they just basically said, oh, he's allowed back. Ben, that's a volley, Ben. Now that's a volley. If you can do that on a consistent basis, you're winning Grand Slams, I'm telling you. Or you're winning a Grand Slam. No, winning Grand Slam. I think he'll win more than one. If he's doing like 8 out of 10 volleys, 9 out of 10 volleys like that on a consistent basis. Really interesting how he's going serve volley on second serves on occasion here, by the way. They did it a lot against Zverev, not necessarily to a huge level of success. But yeah, back to this point about the challenge. Yeah, I think, listen, lovely there, Ben, as well. Now, that volley was a bit easier, to be fair, but it still had to be put away. And we've seen the missed from Felix today, for example. 6-5, change of ends. But yeah, I think so. And I think the good thing about the Challenger Tour is, unlike the main tour, we say, hi, can we have an interview? Yeah, no problem. I think when we do the Challenger Tour, we get to pretty much interview who we want, and we get 2, 3, 4, 5 interviews per day. And that's as it should be. That's how it should be on the main tour as well. Not necessarily Iga or Ben or Felix or Carlos or Yannick or Arena. I get it. You know, those guys are very, very busy. But if we say, hi, can we interview, I don't know, Marozsan or Jaime Faria, of course, or Daniel Collins, let's say. Bless her. I know she's still a huge, huge name in the world of tennis, but her ranking has slipped. But maybe, Maria Sakkari, I don't know. Someone who's, not top 20 right now. Or, I'm struggling here for names, but you know what I mean. I mean, I was nearly going to say Zhao Su's there. Why am I struggling for players outside the top 100? Anyway, you know what I mean. So we should be getting those players, because those players are very unoccupied, Felix Nagal. And I know you're going to say, oh, but you have interviewed these players. But I'm telling you now, I'm interviewing them at Challengers or WTA 125s. We're not getting those interviews on the main tour. And it's so self-harming for the players as well. And by the way, it's not the players that are saying no, because they're pretty bored. Sometimes they're on their own. A lot of these players will be on their own. Even, Daniel Collins, for example, in Strasbourg a couple of years ago, she was there on her own. A lot of them don't have a coach non-stop throughout the year, or their partners, or their teams, or their physios, you know? Yeah, sure. So they do spend a lot of time pretty bored where they would love a 10-minute chat. You know, if that gives them a couple more fans the next time they appear at a tournament, it just might help them get over the line when they're feeling struggling a bit. But the tours, block it, block. Now, I don't know this because people like Sky are saying, please don't let these smaller channels get bigger because they're damaging us. That might be a factor. I think it could. I can't think of much else. But they can't. I don't think they can stop it. Sure, they might be able to stop me, but they're not going to stop everyone. So silly. Okay, forehand drive volley there. That's much better than a drive volley I did today. But Ben, is he? Oh, that's a good volley there from Felix. Yeah, that drive volley was. I did a drive volley today that went straight into the net, and I wasn't annoyed that I elected to drive it. I love a good drive volley, but I was annoyed at my execution. Yep. Yeah, but you can't stop it. It's too late. And nor should you be able to stop it. Unless you're, as I say, you want authoritarianism. Is that an ace there from Felix? It is, 40 love. So it looks like we're set for a tiebreak. Indeed, we are going to a tiebreak. So, second set tiebreak. And it'll be Shelton to serve first. Second set tiebreak. Shelton serve first. Okay. 48 minutes for that set. But it hasn't been a mega long match, considering we could well be going into a third set and hour and 25 minutes on the clock. I mean, the whole match could still go 3 sets and might be done in under 2 hours. So the pace has been pretty high, partly because these two guys have been serving pretty well. Okay, serve down the tee. Serve volley. Oh, Ben. That is the thing. Serve and volley, not the worst decision in the world, but this lack of consistency on the volley that you're getting 8 out of 10, as we just saw. Incredible volley a moment ago. Then it was a solid volley, I think, from Ben, and then a not good volley. It wasn't the easiest of volleys. He might not win the point outright, but get it back in play. Stay maybe 50-50 in terms of the point. Anyway, 1-0. Felix, mini break as well for the Canadian. Felix here serving. Good serve from Felix. Unreturned. 2-0. Felix Auger-Aliassime. Yep, makes sense. I tell you what, it will either be the biggest, in terms of niche and all the rest of it. But Jake, I think you have to host. So you have to be the host and let Ghosty and Nerland do their thing. 3-0. 3-0. Not a good start, to say the least, for Ben Shelton. Get a couple of holes here, though, and at least get to 4-2 at the change of ends. That's why I always think of course, you want to be leading, but if you go down 3-0, you've got to try and get it back. The percentage, if you are 5-1 down at the change of ends, I mean, what chances, what's the percentage? Less than 10% you're winning that tiebreak, I reckon. First serve hits the net and goes wide. So a second serve here at 3-1. Forehand return from Felix is going to go long. That's not a good return from Felix Auger-Aliassime, especially on the second serve. 3-2. Therein lies an issue there for Felix as well as Ben, that return. So we talked about, some of the unreturns, those stats, of course, were regarding the first serves, but yeah, That didn't look good. Okay, 3-2. Well, it is 4-2 at the change of ends because he gets the first serve in that Ben can't deal with. 4-2. I think on that serve, I wouldn't be too harsh on Ben in terms of it just being an unbelievably good spot serve out wide. Maybe Ben could read it a bit better, but that comes with experience. So 4-2 change of ends. It's still Felix serving, so I need to change that little asterisk. Four-two. Felix to serve. Second serve here. Okay, second serve, 4-2. Ben's going to have to get this mini break back soon or enough. That's a good, aggressive second serve from Felix, but Ben has dealt with it. Forehand Felix, though, that's going to win the point because I think Ben has slipped, although he's not won the point yet. Not won the point yet, but he has now with a good volley there from Felix at the net. Are you okay, Ben? Are you all right? You seem like you stumbled at one point, and I hope you haven't injured your knee. Ay. That didn't look good the way he got back to his feet. Ay. Is he okay? Gone for the towel. 5-2 right now in the tie break, but let's have a look at the... He's... Ooh, la. I mean, he gets back to his feet, I know, but there's probably some adrenaline there and desperation. It's just the knee. Did he jar the knee? That's the question. Does he jar the knee there? It certainly affected him as well for the rest of the point. I think he might be all right. I think he might be. He might not be all right in terms of this tie break because he's 5-2 down. He's a couple of big serves here and then get to 5-4 and see where we get to. That's a nice serve down the tee. Look at him there with the knee. You know, I just think this, by the way, this knee issue, I think it'll be okay in a few minutes. Maybe tomorrow, whatever, it'll be okay, if that makes sense. It might just need a bit of movement and maybe a little bit of work on it at the end of this set. The problem is, it might be one set all and he could be a breakdown by the time things start functioning again, if that makes sense. And he might have to take a hit on a... No, he's not going to get a warning there. It's a good serve-ish. Oh, he's lucky there that he's messed up the forehand, Felix. 5-4. Look, he's just limping there. And like I say, I don't think it's a long-term thing. He just needs a few minutes, but he might not have a few minutes because this set could go. Of course, what might happen is we get a couple of big returns or a double fault or, you know, Felix just messed up on the forehand there. I don't know if Felix is getting distracted by all of this as well. The trouble is he's not known for unbelievable returns. And a smash there from Felix, and we've got a couple of set points for the Canadian. If Ben had an advantage in this tiebreak, if he was the one up in mini break, I would fancy him to see it out before the knee became a big problem, if that makes sense. But he's got the deficit, so he's the one who's going to have to... But he doesn't have a Djokovic or an Agassi return, so... Anyway, here we go. 6-4. Not a bad return there, to be fair. He's in the rally now. Oh, nice, Ben. Went big on that forehand. Did the right thing. Kissed the line. Felix couldn't deal with it. We've got the mini break back. 6-5. Like I say, I think another point or so, maybe a change of ends, and I think the knee will be okay. He just needs to get to that stage. Still set point, but a big serve here. And we're at 6-all in the change of ends. And I think we're all right. Like I say, he just needs to get some movement going again in that knee. Physio John there. But he's missed the first serve. Don't double fault, Ben. I don't remember many double faults today, actually, if any. Oh, no, I remember one from Felix. He's going to come in and serve volley this. Oh, Felix has missed the return. I don't blame Felix on that one. It was a second serve. Ben coming into the net. Ben did the smart thing and let it go, and we got 6-all change of ends. Now, let's just see how he's walking. I think he's walking all right. He's just got to get it moving again. Make sure you hit the like button, by the way. And you'll see, if you subscribe, if you haven't done so already, you'll get the pleasure of seeing that little number below me tick over. And you'll know that you've made a difference. And you can do a little dance. Okay, Shelton hit a serve. Where are you going with this serve? You're going into the foot backhand. Big forehand here from Ben. Forehand again, Shelton. Forehand from Felix. Backhand from Ben Shelton. Thought about coming into the net, but didn't do so. Will he regret that opportunity? Don't know. Let's see. Forehand to forehand right now. Backhand Ben Shelton. Ay. It was attackable, but he puts the backhand into the net. And we've got another set point for Felix Auger-Aliassime. Another one on his serve as well. He's had one already on his serve that came and went. 7-6. Hey, look at that, you see? Okay. 7-6. Set point, Felix Auger-Aliassime. Where are you going to go with this serve? Just missed the first serve. Seven, 6. Felix serving. Second serve. Clips the net. Lands in. So it's still a second serve here for Ben Shelton to look at. I see a lot of comments in the live chat. I will come to them in a moment, but yeah, I need a moment. Backhand return from Shelton. Forehand here from Felix. Backhand from Shelton. Forehand Felix. I thought that had gone long from Felix. Forehand from Felix goes into the net. 7-all. Yeah, I thought I heard something from the fans as well, but then I'm not sure if it was Ben. But when one of those forehands, and I thought it had gone long, and I thought I heard someone say something, either out or long. Si podrías suscribir, por favor. Good serve down the tee from Felix here. Forehand to the backhand of Ben Shelton. Forehand now into the backhand again from Ben Shelton. That's a decent backhand cross court, but Felix is dealing with this pretty well at the moment. Now it's on the forehand of Ben Shelton. Ben goes long on that forehand. So 8-7, another set point for Felix Auger-Aliassime, albeit this one is coming on the Ben serve. I think this is his fourth set point. Oh, we just lost a couple of subscribers. Oh, well, I do apologize for whoever got upset by that. Anyway, 8-7. Let first serve. It's unusual. We lose subscribers and gain them all the time. That's fine. It's unusual to lose two in one fell swoop. Misses the first serve, Ben Shelton. Out wide. So, second serve here on set point. 7-8. I don't think Shelton has double faulted in the whole match. There you go. He has now. And Felix wins the set. Well, what an underwhelming way to end that set. Well, we got a third set. One set all. I guess we're going to have a look at some stats in a moment. As and when that appears, we will share them. Okay. In that set, we had 11 winners and 13 unforced errors from Ben Shelton. Felix hit there. That's a really good ratio for Felix, by the way. 15 winners to 8 unforced errors. Felix is still getting a high percentage of first serves in, 85 in that set. Remember, it was 80 in the previous set. And in that set, though, he's winning a lot more on first serve, 79%. So healthier serving figures. And he's also winning 67% on his second serve as well. So, but the most important stat, of course, of all is that Felix won that set by 7 games to 6. Felix Auger-Aliassime forces a deciding set against Shelton in Turin. This is from Jose Morgado. Double fault from Ben on the 4th set point, indeed. That's a pretty good, I don't know if I'll go as far as incredible, but it's a pretty good ratio that. Yeah, 31 wins and 14 losses in tiebreaks this year. Yeah, it's a must-win deciding set in terms of their chances at this tournament, I would suggest. So, 1 set all. Yeah, 15 winners to 8 unforced errors. If you're hitting more than double, Ghosty, or sorry, if you're hitting approximately double, then I think you're doing fine. By the way, Ben didn't take any kind of medical assistance. I think Ben is okay, by the way. As I suggested, it was just a case of shaking that knee issue out quickly and getting on with it. Oh, that's a miss and a half from Felix with a +1 there. Ghosty, what did I say? Did I say that? Love 15. Felix here serving. Felix, good smash that. 15 all. Because I don't mind him. He doesn't get my pulses racing. I don't get mega excited by either the way he plays tennis or his character. But I don't mind him. He's all right. And for sure, you know, him versus Yannick Sinner, nothing against Yannick. If it was Felix who'd won, I don't know how many slams as Auger-Aliassime puts that volley away, 30-15. If it was wow, we're hemorrhaging subscribers right now. Maybe it's because of my fondness for Felix. I don't know. But yeah, if it was Yannick who hadn't won a slam and Felix had won 4 slams, isn't it? I think Yannick has won 2 Aussie Opens, 1 Wimbledon, and 1 US. Then, of course, I'll be back in Yannick. So that's the only difference. But it's Felix who's never won one, so it's always nice to get a new slam winner. That's a good forehand winner there from Felix. He's definitely strong on that forehand side. Probably court 2, yeah. Does depend on the opponent, and the stage and all sorts of things. But yeah, probably chapeau. But actually, Chapo wouldn't be the person that would really draw me. If it was, say, you know, I don't know, let's say Novak was playing Quarantine. Oh, I thought he'd pulled that one off, Ben, but he hasn't. Felix holds. If it was Mute against Novak, for example, I'd probably go for that one. Yeah, sure. But just trying to think who could Felix be playing for me to go for the Felix match? If Felix was playing Bublik, maybe I'd be swayed by that. I've seen him live a couple of times. I remember seeing him in Rio this year, albeit I think it was just the final set when he went out, I think. Oh, I think you asked me about the Italian Alps this year. I never got around to answering it, Ghosty. I have been to the Italian Alps, but not extensively. I've been to Turin at least once, but I went there to watch football. I went to watch Juventus against United back in the day when we would play Juventus. In other words, when we were in the Champions League. Oh, look at that. Nonchalant from Ben, that first point. 15 love. Oh, for sure. I mean, Rio's just top as a place. The tournament, I love the tournament. What's the name of the IMG that basically run the show? No. Another part of the way that tennis is being run, which is just wrong. What was it I saw the other day that's right. I saw some players get banned by the ITIA for, what was it they got banned for? Oh, for offering money to get them wild cards at tournaments. So I don't know if it was challengers or main tour, but I think it might have been challengers, but they were basically offering money to the tournament to get them in as a wild card. And Rio doesn't own it anymore in terms of it sold its share to Mubadala Capital. But let me tell you this, IMG still have their fingers in a lot of pies. I know the woman who's in charge of the media, for example, there, and she works for IMG. Plus, they've got players involved at Rio. They're still very, very heavily involved. Let's say that. Yeah, so these players got banned. And I thought to myself, that's exactly what IMG do. They get players wildcards because they own the tournament. Like the guy, Darwin Blanche, ranked 1,007 in the world or whatever he was when he got the wildcard to play Rafa at Madrid a couple of years ago. That is exactly what these two tennis players. The only difference is IMG are a multi-million-dollar operation, maybe even multi-billion-dollar operation, and these tennis players are just desperate to be playing tennis, and they're probably offering a few €100, maybe a bit more for wildcards. Okay, 1-1, 15 love, Felix Auger-Aliassime. Backhand return from Ben Shelton. That's a lovely forehand, by the way, that Felix has won. Yeah, sometimes just when you've got a player that far behind, you don't need to go with depth. Hit it short and with a nice angle like that, and you're going to hit a nice winner, as he did there, Felix. I think there is a level, by the way. But I think it's all about wealth, isn't it? If I cheat or act corruptly, but I'm tiny, the authorities come down on me heavily. But once you get to a level of size, hugeness is the word I could think of. But once you get to becoming huge, then you got carte blanche, right? Blanche. Interesting word. Oakley dokley here. Felix here, 15 all on serve, and it's going to be a second serve for Ben to look at. He's got to do better on these second serves. Backhand return from Ben, and that's a good backhand winner for Auger-Aliassime. $30-15. Good serve down the tee. He's going to go long on the return, so 40-15. Felix holes. Okay. 2-1, Felix. Yeah, I know what you mean. But I think, see, I used to see it and hear about it a lot, as a teenager and then in my 20s. So whether it would be, refereeing decisions in football or soccer, as you may well know, favoring the big guys. And, I'm thinking of all the big guys across Europe, the top leagues. We know who they are. And, Juventus obviously spring to mind in a big way. They did eventually get punished, didn't they? Although they softened it as much as possible. I think they were initially going to be relegated a few divisions and then eventually managed to appeal and get it. They just went down one division and then came back up immediately. Which really is a light punishment for what they did, basically choosing referees. And then I remember the other accusations like Ferrari in Formula One. And I've seen it in tennis. There was a bit of an eye-opener. I remember going into the Australian Open, the first one in COVID, so I'm going to say 2021, and seeing that the three biggest players in the world at the time, I think, was Rafa, Novak, and Dominic Thiem. They got offered like special hotels to stay in Brisbane, I'm going to say, for a tournament that was pre-AO that year. And and I just thought that was a bit wrong. And then other people, I cannot stand this expression. They have earned the privilege. No, they haven't. They just haven't. It should always be on a level playing field at the beginning of every tournament. Now, I know that's not 100% possible because the best players in the world are going to have the best physios, blah, 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 blah. Look at that approach to the net from Ben, by the way. But you don't earn the privilege of having an uneven field at the beginning of a tournament. Other than, yes, seedings, rankings, I'm okay with that. But not beyond that. Not when it comes to decisions. Not when you've got the choice. No one has earned the privilege of having an unfair playing field. No one. End of. So whenever you hear that comment from anyone, put them in touch with me, yeah? Oh, break points here for Felix, 15-40. Ay. Forehand into the net there from a neutral position, arguably an attacking position from Ben. Hey, Jane. Sorry. Hey, Ashley. Good to see you on board today. Okay. Good serve there from Ben, though. 30-40. Still got a break point here, though. That's going to have to be saved. Good serve down the tee there from Ben Shelton. Vote in our poll, by the way, on who you think is going to win this match. Currently, it's 61% for Shelton. Second serve. Come on, says Ben, as he gets to advantage. It's getting too many forehands, says Ben's father. Don't give him too many forehands. That was a pretty clear instruction. I don't know if they've got him mic'd up, or I mean, you might be right, Ghosty, but I think it was just audible from the mics they have around the court. Good smash there from Felix. 2-2, 15 love. Forehand there from Felix. Smash. $30 love here for Felix. Good serve out wide, becomes 40 love. Three, two, comfortable hold to love there for Felix. Ben's not really getting a look in now on Felix's serve since he got that break point at 3-4, I think it was, wasn't it? He got a look in that point because he got a serve down the tee, did he? And I think he may not have made it back in play, actually. Anyway. Because Felix puts another grip on his racket. And he does a better job of it than I do, even if he's not doing it quite as quickly as Richard Gasquet-esque. Don't think so. Just think he's just he's just putting a grip on a racket, Ghosty, I think. Yeah, he was quick, Richard or Richard. Unreturned serve there from Ben. One hour, 59 minutes on the clock. Oh, lovely +1 there. Oh, double fault, 30-15. Backhand slice from Ben. Backhand. Oh, that's a huge backhand from Ben Shelton. Let it go. Let it go. $15 love for Felix here on serve. 3-all. GG. It's a long time since I heard that name. Good serve out wide. And it's held a point. 30 love. Smash there from Felix for 40 love. And Felix holds comfortably. At the moment, his holds are very, very comfortable. Change of ends. Let's share the score with you. Yes, indeed. It's there on YouTube, Jake. You'll see it. Going to be Fergus, and I think I'll be there at least at the beginning. I don't know if we'll do every match at the ATP Tour Finals, but I'm hopeful that we'll do, if not all, then most. Certainly most. Still waiting to find out who this mysterious person is in the middle. Maybe they're famous. Maybe they're not. Okay, 3-4, Shelton to serve. Yay, love 15. The poll, by the way, is getting closer. 61-39, is it? Something like that. Or 58-42 even. That has narrowed that advantage for Ben. Drive volley there from Shelton is excellent. 15 all. Make sure you hit that like button. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. First serve there from Ben, and Felix can't deal with it. 30-15. If these two guys are elite servers, I think they're anything but elite when it comes to return. Ooh, more votes for Felix in the poll. In the live chat. So I've done the T. Has worked effectively. 40-15 Shelton. Another good serve from Ben, but he's got to put this backhand away. Doesn't cleanly, but he's got a volley. And he does put that one away. Wasn't the most comfortable of volleys, but he does put it away. 4 all. Give him different looks, says Ben's father. Keep mixing it up. Ooh, 52-48 now the poll. My goodness me. It's getting narrower and narrower. Not very often I have to say that word, fortunately. Narrower. Feels a bit weird. Good serve down the tee from Felix, but well dealt with by Ben. He's got to get into the rallies on these points, and he's not getting in the rally just yet. He's either got to go for an out-of-this-world lob or just go big with a pass, probably down the line. And in the end, he did neither and just gave Felix a pretty easy volley. Is Felix the favorite right now? Probably, just because he's holding serve a bit more comfortably than Ben is, generally. Misses the first serve. But for all, anything can still happen. Ghosty, please come and join us for the live stream later. Backhand return. Forehand from Felix is pretty good, but that backhand was not pretty good from Ben Shelton. It's 30 love. It's a long time. Probably a good hour since we last had a break point on the Felix serve. Was the tie break the chance? I think it might have been. It was certainly a chance, despite that little knee issue that Shelton picked up midway through that tiebreak. Good serve down the tee there. It's an ace from Felix. No clue who that guy is, Ghosty. No clue. Shall we take him off the screen? Shall we go for another image? Good serve down the tee there. And Ben can't deal with it. Change of ends. 5-4. And when they return to the court, Shelton will be serving to stay in the match. Yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Getting a bit chilly. Might just get a quick hoodie. Right. Just a moment. We'll take a quick break.
Ready. Play.
And if you're wondering what this little thing is, well, let me tell you now, whether it be tea, coffee, or merely water, it tastes so much better from a talking tennis mug. And you know what? They can be yours if you wish to purchase one from our website. We've also got bags and stickers and hoodies and notebooks. Mira Andreeva. T-shirts as well, of course, coming in both black and white. And we've got a classic jumper for you as well, and many, many other things for you to purchase for excellent prices so you can look like some of the coolest people on the tour. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. El resto del departamento es para ti.
Ok.
¿Vale? ¿Todo bien? Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Puedes seguir trabajando allí? No sé, 10 o 30 minutos. ¿Es pequeño? Sí. Muy bien, gracias. Muy bien, hablamos en como 20 minutos, ¿vale? Okay. Sorry for the delay. Love 15 turned to 30-15, so that's good news for Ben. Excuse me. Indeed it was. It was not German, as you know, Ghosty. 2 hours and 11 minutes on the clock. Felix again showing himself not to be the most elite of returners. Forehand return here from Felix again. He's gone long. 40-15. Okay, 5 all. Comfortable hold there for Ben. Serve out wide, drive volley for... That was a tricky drive volley, though. Maybe he let it drop a little bit too much, Felix. I think he was a little bit behind the... A little bit behind the times, behind the trajectory. Not quite sure how to put it, if you know what I mean. And as a result, it dropped too low and it made it hard for him to get the drive and enough spin on it to get it back on the island, so to speak. And it went long. So love 15 here on the Felix serve. Goes down the tee and misses. This is basically in or out. Lose, break, get broken here, Felix, and you're on the verge of being out of the tournament. Hold, and you might well be giving yourself a chance on the Ben serve or even the tie break. You're going to get a couple of bites at the cherry, so to speak. Okay, love 15, second serve. That's what Ben needs. Could have come into the net there, Felix, perhaps. Nice backhand cross court from Ben. Now he's going to go down the line. Is he? No. Who's going to blink first in this rally? Backhand cross court from Ben. But it's Felix who goes long on the forehand. Love 30. Warm applause from his team. Are we coming towards the end of this match? Is this the key moment? Love 30 here. Now, of course, Shelton losing to Zverev does put himself in a pretty perilous position, even if he does win this match in 3, but it gives him a chance. Good serve down the tee there from Felix. Smash from Felix. He's going to have to do it again, and he does. That was a much easier smash than last one. So 15-30. Felix here. 5-all in the deciding set. 15-30. Down the tee. Misses. Second serve. Backhand return from Shelton. Could have probably gone for the runaround forehand there. Lovely shot down the line there from Felix, and it's 30-all. Okay, Felix serving here, 30-all. Down the tee, not landed in. So a second serve here at 30-all. Okay, where are you going with this serve? Backhand return. Forehand from Felix. Forehand from Shelton's going to go long, 40-30. So from love 30, Felix wins 3 points in a row. First serve is into the net. Second serve for Shelton to look at. 40-30. 2 hours and 17 minutes on the clock. 4:30 local time. Felix up and down. Backhand return from Ben. A lot of these serves are going into the backhand of Ben, especially on the second serve. They're into the rally here. Felix here. Good depth from him. Felix again. Forehand from him going cross court to the backhand. That's better, Ben. You've got to be going for that Felix backhand. Again, you're going for the Felix backhand. It's a nice slice, though, from Felix. That's not a nice slice from Shelton. And Felix is delighted to get the hold there, and so he should be delighted, having been down love 30 on his serve. He does hold, and when they return to the court, Ben Shelton is going to be serving to stay in the match at 5-6 in the deciding set. Which one of these two players is going to go into the final match with a chance? You feel as though, in a way, with Felix playing Zverev in the last match rather than Sinner, because he's already played Sinner and lost, you feel as though things are very much kind of more in Felix's hands than in Ben's. Because Ben could win this, and then he's got to play Sinner in the last match. Whereas Felix could win this and think, you know what, I can beat Zverev. I mean, this is all kind of assuming that Zverev doesn't beat Sinner tonight, which I think is likely. I think I've predicted Sinner in 3, but you know, he beat him love and won recently, albeit that was a Zverev that was struggling a little bit physically in the second set, wasn't he, with an ankle injury? I don't mind it, Ghosty. It mixes up the tour a little bit, gives us something else just once a year to think about. Yes, it does get a little complicated, perhaps, and I think there might be ways of simplifying it. What I would consider, Ghosty, is just doing it purely on games 1. You could do it just like that. And it would probably mean that there would never be any dead rubbers. Like, it wouldn't ever be a case where one player is already through that way. And it's just purely on games 1. Now, the problem with that is sport is a lot more than that. It's also, you know, winning a match should be rewarded. Ooh. Forehand goes long from Shelton, so it's love 15 here. Little bit of danger here, because right now Felix is 3 points away. It's all right. It's not my favorite part of the year, but there's a lot of factors behind that aren't tennis related. For example, I just know it's winter where I am. Oh, good depth there from Felix. Nice amount of depth from... Oh, Ben's gone long on the forehand. Love 30. Well. Felix now 2 points away from an invaluable win. I mean, it's only 6 weeks, really, isn't it? Maybe even less, 5 weeks. Good serve down the tee there from Ben, but well done. Oh, but that's a nice +1 winner. I was going to say well done, Felix, for getting a racket on that, actually, and also getting it back in play. But well done to Ben as well, putting away that short ball, 15-30. What's his father saying to him now? Maybe giving him I didn't hear that, actually, in terms of where to put the ball. Ben, you should have come into the net there. You've got to come into the net at some point. But you're going to get away with it because Felix is going to dump that into the net. 30 all. Oh, Fabio Capello watching on. Former AC Milan manager. England manager, of course. Sam Allardyce. Loves a good pint of wine. Does Sam. Big wine. 30 all. Good return from Felix. Maybe the best return of the day, but there's not a lot of competition for that prize. And it's a match point for Felix Auger-Aliassime. Ooh, second serve here for Felix to look at on match point. Is Ben going to come into the net on this? No. Doesn't matter, though, because it's an unreturned serve. Deuce. Good serve down the tee there from Ben Shelton. Drop shot. Ben Shelton doesn't work. We've got another match point. Another match point. But it is on return. Okay, where are you going with this serve? Ace out wide. Deuce. Woo. Two match points come and go. Ben Shelton serving here. Decent serve, but that's a good return from Felix. He's into the rally. Ben's on the defense. Felix on the forehand. It's a really good forehand. Ben's struggling to stay in the point, and it's going to be another match point for Felix Auger-Aliassime. Okay, Ben Shelton to serve. But it is another match point. Match point number 3, albeit all have come on the Ben serve. Here we go. Shelton. Returned. Lovely forehand. Slice from Felix. Sits up quite nicely for Ben, but we're still very much into the rally here. Felix now has a semi-chance to attack. Staying on the forehand, but it's difficult to get away from that forehand, Ben's saying to himself. Now it's on a run around forehand for Felix. Ben slices. Slices long. Felix Auger-Aliassime wins 7-5 in the third set. Jake is happy with that Felix win. I'm sure Ghosty is not. But it is a win for Felix Auger-Aliassime. Lost the first set 6-4, won the second set 7-6, and wins 7-5 in the third set. A little jig and a little dance from his team. Felix Auger-Aliassime gives himself a shot at qualification. Ben Shelton almost certainly out, having lost today. I think he'd probably have to beat Jannik Sinner in straight sets in the last match and hope that Jannik beats Zverev tonight, probably in straight sets too. And even then, actually, I think he can't qualify, because I think with that result, I think it now means that he's out, because Felix and Zverev, one of those two is going to win that last match, and therefore one of them will have 2 wins. So it is an unassailable lead. So Ben Shelton is out of the tournament and only has pride to play for in his last match with Jannik Sinner. And that could be a dead rubber, by the way, because Jannik may well have qualified as well. They'll probably put that match on first, but, maybe being Jannik Sinner, they might want it on second just because it's Jannik, and maybe tickets at night. Little message perhaps on the camera here from Felix. What are we seeing? Dai. I'm not sure what that means. It's obviously Italian rather than French. Maybe I should know. Anyway, looking at some of the stats here, this is for the whole match, of course. Ben Shelton, 26 winners, 30 unforced errors. 30 unforced errors is not too bad in a way, but maybe he'd expect to hit a few more winners against someone who's maybe not the best defender on the tour in terms of Felix. Felix hitting 37 winners to 22 unforced errors. That is a very good ratio of winners to unforced errors for Felix, albeit that I don't think it was the highest quality of match from both players. Looking at some of the serving stats, Ben on second serve, 58%. It's a little bit lower than he'd want. First serves in, by the way, for Felix is very good, 80% first serves in. First serves won, 77%. But I think this is damning for Ben Shelton. On the second serve for Felix Auger-Aliassime, Felix is winning 74% of those second serves. And Felix is not hitting bombs on his second serve. So I think that's very disappointing for Ben on the second serve return. Yeah, do make sure you check out the Tennis Warehouse link And maybe you can buy some equipment either for yourself or for players if you think that they need it or warrant it. Maybe you think that Felix needs a dampener or Ben needs a new headband. Do check out that link in the description below. And don't forget to use the code TALK10 when you buy your stuff, and you'll get yourself a nice discount. And then you'll be able to buy yourself maybe something as well. Okay, let's have a quick recap on this match. Felix Auger-Aliassime comes out the blocks a little slowly, and it is Ben who gets the early break, and not necessarily the highest of quality of matches, and it is Ben who goes up the break. However, Ben serving for the first set, perhaps a little passive at that, and a little bit underwhelming, and so gets the break back, does Felix. Felix breaks back. We're now on serve, but Felix still, of course, has to serve to stay in the first set, and he doesn't serve to stay in the first set. Ben breaks, wins that first set by 6-4. The second set is nip and tuck. They get to the tie break without any breaks, although it is arguably Felix that's maybe making a slightly bigger impression on the Ben Shelton serve at this point. Although Ben does have a break point at 30-40 at 3-4. And so if he breaks there, he's serving for the match. He doesn't break there. Felix holds. We get to the tie break. Felix goes up in the tie break. We're 4-2 at the change of ends. Felix gets a couple of set points at 6-4. Blows them, though. Blows them. And really gifts Ben away back into that tie break. And in fact, Ben was struggling slightly with he did fall over at one point, Ben, and damaged his knee a bit. And that did seem to jar him for a couple of points. However, he recovers, gets to 6-all, saves those set points. However, there's another set point for Felix. That comes and go, and eventually a fourth set point was too many gifts for him to grab, and eventually he does win that second set. We go into the third set. Again, the pattern is that Felix is the one who is threatening the Ben serve. Ben, though, is not making any impression on the Felix Auger-Aliassime serve, and eventually gets broken when he's serving to stay in the match. That is the pattern of play. That is the nature of the match. Not the highest quality of affairs, but it was intriguing and it was interesting. But probably Felix was just the better player, especially on return at points today. But that, as I said during the commentary, wasn't exactly the hardest thing to achieve, to be the better returner today, because I think both were underwhelming in that department. So it is Ben Shelton who bows out of the tournament, and it is Felix Auger-Aliassime who gives himself a shot at qualification, but he's probably going to have to beat Alexander Zverev in the last match. In fact, he's definitely going to have to beat Alexander Zverev in the last match to do so. And he probably also needs Sinner to win tonight. Nevertheless, that's very likely. Felix, basically, I think his head can be clear. He wins his last match, probably qualifies. So it is still in his hand. But Ben bows out of this tournament. As so often is the case, players appearing at this tournament for the first time do find it a little bit difficult. Remember Ben's lack of top 10 wins at Grand Slams, and now he's playing top 10 players day after day after day. And ultimately, he's out. Thanks for joining. See you all soon. And you know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.